All right, so here's the deal. I want to eventually obtain all the shiny mythical Pokemon. I've already caught Celebi and Arceus, and I'm currently working on shiny hunting Mew. But there are 5 other shiny mythicals that you can earn by completing Pokedexes in all the Switch Pokemon games, which I've already done to obtain the shiny charms. But to obtain the mythicals, you need to complete the Pokedex from a specific game within Pokemon Home, with Pokemon that originate from that specific game. So because of this, I'm missing a lot of Pokemon across the Pokedexes, and I need to go catch them so I can obtain my mythical Pokemon. So I started with the first Nintendo Switch Pokemon game, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. As you can see, there are some, little mons here and there that I'm missing. Not gonna be too hard to do. This should be relatively fast because I basically got all the legends. Dratini will be the hardest one to find, I think. So let's do this. So it's no surprise that Pokemon Let's Go, Eevee, and Pikachu are pretty hated games. I mean, I literally talked crap on it for so many years. But, I mean, hey, I did have a change of heart recently. Basically, the story of this game is that Game Freak decided to try and convert all the Pokemon Go fans and get them to be Pokemon console fans. To do this, they basically threw out the original way to catch Pokemon by weakening them with your own, and instead went with the Pokemon Go style of things, of giving a Pokemon a berry and timely throwing balls at the Pokemon in hopes to catch it before it runs away. Now, I didn't initially like this because when I was a kid, I loved forming different teams of Pokemon for specifically battling. So not being able to battle the wild Pokemon was a little bit annoying, especially since they could run away. And on top of it, I never really liked the Joy-Con motion controls. Just give me a regular controller and I'm a happy man. And since I couldn't use this in Pokemon Let's Go, I stopped playing the game relatively fast after its release. But I started playing the game recently with a new set of lenses on. The draw to Pokemon isn't really battling for me anymore. I play because I like catching and collecting Pokemon. And because of that switch, I actually think Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are pretty dang fun. As long as you're not playing through the story, because it's honestly pretty easy and a little boring. But for this video, all I had to do was just catch Pokemon, which was really relaxing. You can basically find any Pokemon you need somewhere in one of the routes. And the fact that all the Pokemon spawn in the overworld makes finding the Pokemon you need very easy. In Pokemon Yellow, not all Pokemon could be obtained in the routes. Like, you could get the starter Pokemon from NPCs, but they weren't just running around the wild like in Let's Go. So finding all the missing Pokemon I needed was relatively easy. There were a couple Pokemon that did slow us down though. One was finding Dratini. It has a 4% chance to spawn in Route 10 unless you're using Alert, which bumps up the chance of seeing one. But for some reason, he was just being a little bit of a jerk and not spawning. It was definitely irritating, but eventually it did spawn and I found it. And when I got to this point, all I had to do was grind up some Pokemon to evolve them. Unfortunately, this game did come out before experience candies were introduced, so grinding was a bit harder, but not by much. Your whole party in this game gets experience for defeating opponents' Pokemon, or catching one in the wild, so it's much faster than in the old days. Because of that, we were able to finish our first Pokemon Home Pokedex. Yeah, baby! Look at that! We're one step closer to fulfilling my dream of creating a grand Pokedex. See, register every single Pokemon in the Kanto Pokedex. You are most certainly the right one to entrust with this monumental task. Absolutely brilliant. I hope you keep up the fantastic work. Oh my god, did you just get it like this? Oh my god, show me. Open it. Open it. I need it. Check your gift box in Pokemon Home for mystery gifts. How do I do that? Where the fuck is it? Mystery gifts. Gift box? Look at him. Look at him claim. Oh. Okay. Is it in my box now? Okay, they just put him to the very first box of the PC. That is quite unfortunate. But hey, it's all right. Can I check your summary? Look at him! Oh my god! That's so exciting. Oh my god, the first one's down. How much more do we have? 4 games? 5 games? I don't know. Something like that. I'll just put you down here for now. That'll be easy. All right, on to the next game. With our new shiny Melton obtained, we made our way into the next game, Pokemon Sword and Shield. And this game was much harder to complete. You see, Pokemon Let's Go was just the regular 151 Pokedex. But Sword and Shield has a main Pokedex of 400 Pokemon, and then 200 DLC Pokedexes which have 210 Pokemon each. Yeah, it's a lot. But the good thing is, some of the Pokemon do overlap over the Pokedexes. So the number of Pokemon we have to catch is definitely less, but it's still a lot we gotta get. All right, so it looks like the next to do on the list would be the Crown Tundra Pokedex, but we're just gonna start with the Galar Pokedex. I feel like that makes the most sense. And it looks like a lot of easy ones at the beginning. These shouldn't be too bad. Some evolutions, it looks like. Ooh, we have to do some of the fossils. Ooh, I am not happy about that. But all right, we have what, 98 to catch? This might take a little bit. So we start off by catching all the Pokemon we could find in the wild area. And since we had a lot to catch, we knocked off a ton in a fast manner. And just like in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, you can see most Pokemon running around the overworld in this game, which makes finding the Pokemon you're looking for so freaking easy. The only drawback is that not every Pokemon can be found by just running around the wild. This game also has exclamation point encounters for you to randomly encounter Pokemon with. And you have to do this with Pokemon like Feebas, which has a 1% chance to spawn in this specific spot. So finding Pokemon like that was definitely time consuming and not very fun. These games also had weather-based encounters, and these type of Pokemon were probably the most annoying ones to find. You want a Cryogonal? Well, you gotta wait until it's snowing, storming, or blizzarding. Sorry, I do have a cool little trick for you guys if you want to bypass the waiting for specific weather. You can just change your Switch's internal clock a day forward, and it will change the weather for each spot in the wild areas, which obviously I had to do many, many times. While catching a lot of these Pokemon, I ended up running into a random encounter, and it was somehow a Galarian Moltres. Like, bro wasn't even on my screen. Where the heck did he come from? I also somehow caught it in a quick ball. I mean, I guess he just wanted to be with me like that bad. Like really, like honestly, maybe I'm just that cool. I also eventually caught the other two legendary birds. This was my first time ever catching them, and I gotta say, they were pretty fun to catch. Moltres was random, but I like how each one has its own unique way to encounter it. Like with Articuno, I found a cool spot you can just stand in to encounter it, so it wouldn't run away to a different area. Oh. Did I guess right?
No, you guessed wrong, but then you ran into the spot where he re-teleported to.
You ran into eternity.
That's funny.
You got kind of lucky.
Something cool about Pokemon Sword and Shield is it has fully evolved rarer Pokemon just walking around the wild. In old games, if you caught a Gible, you would have to train that sucker all the way up to get a Garchomp yourself. In these games, you can just find Garchomp or even fully evolved fossil Pokemon just walking around the wild. And because of this feature, I didn't have to really spend that much time grinding at all. I basically could catch each individual Pokemon I needed for the most part without needing to evolve them. But there were still Pokemon I did still need to evolve. And rather than needing to battle a bunch of trainers to gain experience like in Let's Go, there was now an easier method. This game introduced experience candies. And these little suckers boost the level of your Pokemon. And just by walking around the wild and picking up random items, you can get a bunch of rare candies. So these things combined made grinding the easiest thing in the world. And after multiple days of catching all of Galar's Pokemon, I was left with only a few left. And for one of them, I needed to actually beat the Crown Tundra DLC for. You see, I did have Glacier because I did beat the DLC in one of my games, but I didn't have Spectre because I didn't like the DLC enough when it released to play through it again. But now I had to spend a few hours completing it and caught Spectre. And all that was left was the Swords of Justices and Regieleki. To get the Swords of Justices, you had to go on a little bit of a scavenger hunt looking for all their footprints, which honestly I thought was pretty neat to do. But when I got to Regieleki, I thought you just needed to put any good old Regirock, Registeel, and Regice in your party to encounter it. So obviously I imported some old ones from Pokemon Home, and I found out that's not how it works. You have to open every single Regi cave and catch them within the game you want Regieleki or Regidrago. Kind of annoying you have to do that because I wanted to save those encounters for shiny hunting in the future, but I guess I'll just throw those plans out the freaking window. But with catching Regieleki, I finished all the Galar's Pokedex and could obtain another shiny mythical Pokemon. Here they are. It's all completed, baby. It's all completed. Look at that. Brilliant. Thank you, Grand Oak. Appreciate that. It's a gift from Grand Oak. It's a box. So epic. Cool. Oh, I have to accept one. Perfect. All right. Where is it here again? Mystery gifts. Gift box. Oh, yes. Look at him. Shiny Keldeo. Claim. Oh, my God. That took way too long for a Pokemon I don't really care about. The next Pokedex we needed to complete was Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. All right, so now we need to see what Pokemon we got to catch in Sinnoh. And if we take a look, a lot of these are relatively easy. It seems, besides some of the Honey Tree encounters, which I'm not really excited for. But besides those, everything else is pretty easy. So we might need to start off with the Honey Tree encounter. And thankfully, we do have a Feebas. I got to figure out what that is. And evolve that, but thankfully we at least have a Feebas. That is good. Okay, so we might not have that many Pokemon we need to catch, but let's just say they're very tedious ones. Since BDSP is a faithful remake to Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, that meant a lot of the easy methods to obtain Pokemon like in Sword and Shield are no longer available. So let's talk about that. First off was the honey tree encounters. There are Pokemon that are only exclusively found in honey trees. And to get them, you need to slap some honey onto one of the trees and then wait 6 hours before you can encounter a Pokemon. The problem with this is time skipping your Switch does not work in this game. So you have to sit there and actually wait 6 hours. And while that honey sat, I went and caught some other Pokemon. And because this is a faithful remake, you can probably guess there are no overworld encounters anymore. Every Pokemon is a route-specific random encounter. So looking for some of these Pokemon took a lot of time. I'm looking at you, Octillery. And on top of that, we don't get any experience candies in this game, so we had to manually grind everyone. But thankfully, this game does stray a little bit away from the originals and threw away the old experience share, and now has the experience all, so that everyone in the party gets experience just like in the last couple games. So because of this, we were able to catch Pokemon with the Pokemon we need to evolve in our party, and they would just gain experience slowly throughout the challenge. If this was regular Diamond and Pearl, this grinding would have took forever. I would have put one experience share on one Pokemon and just go and go and go until it evolves. It would have took forever. There's also a pretty neat grinding trick you can do in this game as well. There's a trainer on Route 228 that has 3 Pokemon at level 54, and one of them is a Chansey, which if you don't know, Chansey gives a crap ton of experience. So basically the trick is just to give a lucky egg to one of the Pokemon you're grinding and just beat up this trainer's team over and over using the Versus Seeker. Doing this obviously gets your Pokemon level up extremely fast. And if you put an amulet coin on the Pokemon in the front of your party, you can get some extra cash as well. And after a while, the honey tree encounters were taking a long time. Eventually, I did complete most of the Pokedex besides the honey tree encounters, so I decided to get a little bit cheeky with it. Since I had a whole living dex of Pokemon in the PC that didn't count towards home, I decided to grab all the honey tree encounter ones and some other harder Pokemon and put them in the daycare with a horny Ditto. And together they can, make me some eggs. This way I could just hatch the Pokemon I needed right away rather than having to wait for the honey trees and praying I got lucky to get a Pokemon I needed. And after hatching all the eggs, I put them into Pokemon Home and completed the Sinnoh Dex. Okay, if we take a look, are you for real? We're missing one Pokemon. Which one did I not transfer? Spiritomb? God dang it. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. Yeah, I'm dumb. I thought I hatched a Spiritomb, but it must have gotten lost in the sheer amount of sex my Ditto was having. But we went back into the game, hatched a Spiritomb, and put it into Home. If we take a look here, baby, Pokedex, games, Sinnoh. We've done it, baby. Brilliant. We're one step closer to fulfilling my dream of creating a grand Pokedex. Yes, baby. All right, I want the Pokemon. Give me the Pokemon. Let me open my mystery gift. Oh, man, I'm so excited. Yay! I want to open it. Give it to me. Come on. Manja. Look at that, the shiny Manaphy. Should we go see it in Home now on the Switch? I feel like we should. And look at that, Manaphy is now in the box. I am loving it. Wait, hold up. Let's bring you guys down here because I don't like you guys being up there. Oh boy, we're at the Legends Arceus part. And now I know a lot of you guys like Legends Arceus out there. I know, trust me. But I just don't like it. I don't. But it really doesn't matter how I feel. I do have to enter the game so I can finish the Pokedex. So let's just take a look at our Pokemon Home completion of it to see which ones we're missing. Yeah, so we need 100 and what, 24? That's math, right? Yeah, so I fully reset the game a few months ago because I was planning on making a video on it. The goal was basically to review the game from the beginning and just try to change my opinion on it. But after about 8 hours, I got extremely bored and decided to stop playing it. So since we were in the middle of the game, my goal was to first beat the game and then worry about completing the Pokedex. This was because some of the legendaries were locked behind the Volo battle. So yeah, I was basically forced to get over my feelings and beat this game again. One of the first things I had to do was fight the Lord of the Hollow, Electrode. And when you haven't played this game in a long time, coming back to it is a little bit of a whiplash. The controls are probably the worst I have dealt with any game. So it made this battle pretty rough. Please stop. I don't like this. Oh my God, are you for real? I was not even in that. You. Okay, I know I've already been a little bit negative about this game a little bit, but let's just reel it back because I do have some nice things to say about this game as we play through it. And while I made my way through the game, I obviously was catching every Pokemon I saw that I didn't have already. I was even catching duplicates as well to potentially evolve later. And what I think is nice about this game is once you acquire Weather and Wind Balls, it makes catching Pokemon very convenient. I basically just ran around and threw balls from as far back as I could, aiming for the Pokemon's backside and moved on. And it was making completing this Pokedex super easy. Now, I didn't appreciate how the balls would randomly clip off nothing, ruining your throw. I also didn't appreciate if I threw a ball from too far away at the Pokemon, even if it hit it, it just didn't work. But these things are obviously easily play around. All I'm saying is it could have been improved. But as I played through the game and caught hundreds of Pokemon, I found myself adapting to the controls, and it became a lot more natural to play. I think it's just hard to adapt to when you go from playing games that have very cohesive button layouts for a lot of games, and then you go to play Pokemon Arceus and it just throws any muscle memory you have from playing games out the freaking window. But I honestly was still enjoying my time progressing through the story. I even got lucky with a little bit of a friendly surprise. Oh! Oh! Shiny! Shiny! No! Yes! Purple Wurple! Woo! We slowly made our way through the story, caught Palkia, Dialga, and the Lake Spirits, and found our way to fighting Volo. And honestly, the fight was going pretty good for a second, and then I started losing it. Dude, come on! That is so stupid! Dude, what happened? Why can't I make a move? Like, what the is this game? I did agile style before I killed them on. I should be able to move. Okay, maybe let's not show the full fight. We don't need to show that. All you gotta know is I beat Volo, and then he sent out Giratina with me not being able to heal, and I obviously lost before I could really do anything. Okay, we're gonna agile draining kiss. And I miss, because this game sucks! Dude, I told you not to put that in. What the heck? Now, I just want to take this time to apologize for my rashness. I am very sorry about it. However, I was able to take a bit of a breather and decide to postpone this fight until later. And since I unlocked all the different areas, I just went and caught all the Pokemon I was missing. Not only would this get me closer into completing the Pokedex, but it would also give us some levels on all of our Pokemon to make the Volo fight more doable. And to be honest, this was actually probably one of my favorite Pokedexes to complete. I feel like it was very straightforward on how to get each Pokemon. Some Pokemon were nighttime encounters, so I would just sleep until nighttime and then go get the Pokemon. And trade evolutions are pretty annoying to do in any other game, but in Legends Arceus, you can just buy the items you need to evolve them instead. It's so much easier than having to need a friend to trade back and forth with. I mean, it just takes forever. The only problem I ran into was finding the fossil Pokemon. You can only obtain them in space-time distortions, which is pretty frustrating since you have to wait around for them, and the Pokemon are still a super rare encounter. But I caught Pokemon after Pokemon and completed every Pokedex entry besides the last 4 Pokemon I needed, which were the forces of nature. But this meant I needed to head back up Mount Cornet and have my rematch against Volo. But this time I was very prepared and fought this fight so well. I ended up getting to the Origin Giratina part and had my Togekiss, Dialga, and Ursaluna all still alive. But let's just say, you know, Lady Luck was not on my side. We're gonna get a quick little cheeky Calm Mind. Oh, and he missed! Oh! Yeah, good. Nice try, bud. Nice try. Dude, I swear to God, Togekiss, if you miss, we're gonna have some problems. I'm gonna kill myself. Really? I swear to God, if I send this Dialga in and we miss, I'm literally going outside and I'm gonna strangle a cat. Wanted to put a little note in here. I was not actually gonna strangle a cat. I don't know why I said that. Ignore it. I would never do that. I have 2 beautiful cats and I love them. Okay, you know, I was really trying to enjoy the game, but this part was just ridiculous. Like, why does Giratina get an evasion boost? I think like this fight isn't honestly that hard at all. It's only hard because I threw luck-based mechanics into it. But obviously, you know, I had to rematch him again, and this time things went better. Oh my God. Thank you. Oh my God, I got lucky. I got a crit. Wow. Wowzers. You stupid gimmicky battle. So dumb. And with that horrendous battle out of the way, we had to go catch the last 4 Pokemon we needed, and heading to one, we found something special. Oh my God, that's a shiny! What the I didn't even need to do the blinky.
Are you serious? It's a Bergmite? Oh no, it's
Snorunt.
Okay. I was gonna say, I freaking hunted for Bergmite. No freaking long Legends Arceus.
Now getting that shiny was pretty awesome, but obtaining these legends was not. They were a bit annoying with how they attack you while you're trying to break their shields 3 times each. But we eventually got all 4 of them and completed the Hisui Pokedex. All right, looks like we got it. Pokedex, games, Hisui, and we have finished it, baby. It's kind of sad just because I should have had this completed like all the other ones beforehand. And it would have saved me a lot of time if I didn't restart my game. That would have been cool. But it's all right. You know what? We were able to do it. We got the mystery gift. I'm just so happy it's over. Oh my God. And gift box. Look at that. Shiny and Amorous. You know what? That's really cool that was the last one we caught. That actually, I didn't even play on that. That's so perfect and really cute. Love that. But as you can see, we've claimed 4. There's only one more game to do now. Oh my God. Let's do it. The last game on the list is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Let's just see how many Pokemon we need to find. If we take a look at our Pokemon home here, you can see that our Pokedex is pretty close to being done. We have like 39 more Pokemon. Kitakami, we need 38. Blueberry, we need about 64. So we'll be in this for a while, but the good thing is this game is really easy to catch Pokemon in, so it should not be a problem. And not a problem it was. Sure, this game might be a little bit of a step back on catching Pokemon, because like in Legends Arceus, you can just throw and go. Scarlet and Violet, you do have to encounter each Pokemon, but it's honestly still pretty fast. And on top of it, finding shinies when you have a shiny charm is so easy. What up, dude? Let's go! Shinies literally throw themselves at you left and right. I mean, it's so easy just to pass on one just by sheer accident because there's so many spawns. But luckily, you know, your boy has a special skill on knowing when a shiny might appear. Oh my God! There is no way! Dude, I literally called it! Me, dude. Every time I see an Oinkologne, I get a shiny. It's ridiculous. Yeah, so the start of this session was pretty successful. 2 shinies within 20 minutes of recording is absurd. And what's cool about this game is you can catch fully evolved Pokemon just like in Sword and Shield. So I didn't really have to do much training at all. And even if I did, you still get so many experience candies and rare candies in this game. It's not hard to evolve any of the Pokemon. And after about 4 hours of playing, I finished everything besides some Metal Evolution starters. So I went to Blueberry Academy, caught the starters I needed to evolve, and all that was left was to throw them into Pokemon Home. All right, looks like we have a notification. Pokedex, games. Look at that, Blueberry done. Oh, we're just gonna get it. Okay, I was gonna say all 3, but I guess we're just getting it. Oh my God, dude, this actually feels so good to be done with this. Yep, look at that. Look at all those crowns. I mean, I get it, guys. Pokemon Go, I have 3 in there. I'm sorry. I'm not doing Pokemon Go. I'm not doing it. I don't like it. I'm sorry. We're checking our mystery gifts, gift box, and shiny Meloetta, baby. Look at all the shinies we obtained. All 5 shiny mythicals. I think we gotta see it in the game, right? We gotta see it in the game, right? So let me put this in the game. Unfortunately, we obviously can't put Melton in Scarlet and Violet, so we're just gonna have to look at these 4, but still exciting, still very exciting. Oh my God, this is so exciting. Oh, you guys gotta come on the team. Oh my God, look at him. This is so sick. Yo, Meloetta, you don't look very shiny in the dark, do you? But dude, Manaphy looks awesome. Yeah, come over here, guys. Oh my God, this is so cool. Oh my God, I'm so happy we did it. Let's go, baby. Let's go.